Yo, what's going on YouTube? What's going on TikTok? What's going on Instagram, X, and Twitch? This is your boy Vision coming to y'all today on this beautiful Tuesday morning. It's cold out there, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all warm up and covered up when y'all go outside. Listen, I'm here to talk to y'all about week 10 of the NFL. So, with that being said, in the past 4 weeks, your boy Vision went 14 and 1, 9 and 4, 10 and 4, and then recently in week 10, we went 8 and 6, y'all. We're gonna get it together for week 11 though. But check this out. When we talk about several teams in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? The Broncos defense held up against the Raiders in a 10-7 victory all the way in Berlin, Germany. The Colts beat the Falcons in Berlin, Germany, 31-25 in a very close game. Listen, shout out to the New York Jets, man. If you're a Jets fan, you should be proud of your team, how they played last week or this past weekend. Half of your 27 points came from a kick return and a punt return, right? 27-20 win over the Browns, who I picked was gonna win, but I'm sorry, but the Jets had, shut that shit down. The Texans beat the Jaguars 26-29, surprisingly. What a terrible game management in the fourth quarter by the Jaguars. The Texans scored 26 points in the fourth quarter, y'all. Shake my fucking head. And it was 29-10 in the fourth quarter. 29-10 in the fourth quarter, y'all. And here comes the Texans scoring 26 points to win a game 36-29. Trevor Lawrence with 159 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Only 94 rushing yards by the Jaguars. Davis Mills, aka General Mills, drops them off for 292 yards, one touchdown, and the defense allowed 130 rushing yards. Shout out to the Dolphins, man. Shout out to the Dolphins beating the Bills 30-13. Josh Allen had a fumble and an interception, playing terrible. Only 87 rushing yards by the Bills, and they allowed 197 rushing yards. So the Bills almost allowed 200 rushing yards in this game. When we look at the Bills, they couldn't execute when it mattered. They had more yards than the fucking goddamn Dolphins. They had more time of possession than the Dolphins. They just couldn't execute. The Bills had 3 turnovers as a team, and that's how you get beat in a football game. Shout out to the Bears for coming back and winning that game in the fourth quarter, scoring 14 fourth quarter points to win 24-20 over the New York Giants. Caleb Williams is great. I think he's a top 10 quarterback this year. Uh, this game actually got their Giants head coach fired. Shout out to the Ravens. When Lamar Jackson is back, they win 3 in a row. The Ravens beat the Vikings 27-19. Lamar is back. Ravens defense forced 3 turnovers, guys. 3 turnovers. The Vikings had over 100 yards in penalties. And you know, when you turn the ball over 3 times and you have over 100 yards in penalties, most likely, you're going to lose that game. Shout out to the Seahawks for blowing out the Cardinals. The Cardinals had 22 points to the Seahawks, 44 points. The Seahawks had 198 yards of rushing. Sam Darnold managed the game well, but only had one interception. And of course, shout out to my Duval County. I can't believe it. Shout out to my New Orleans Saints. Shout out to everybody in Duval, man. Shout out to everybody in New Orleans. I just want to do a little quick break. I appreciate everybody in these counties, man. Shout out to everybody in my city. Shout out to everybody in the state of Louisiana, state of Mississippi. Shout out in Georgia. Shout out to everybody in Florida. Shout out to everybody in Tennessee, Kentucky, wherever you from. If you're from Africa, if you're from Asia, no matter where you from, appreciate it. That I appreciate you guys are listening. We have entered 2,000 subscribers on this channel, guys. Now let's go to the New Orleans Saints game. Shout out to my Saints team winning 17-7 versus the Panthers. Absolutely shutting the Panthers down, guys. The Panthers only had 197 yards of total offense. The Panthers only rushed for 73 yards. And shout out to Tyler So. Tyler Shue with 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interception. I think he's going to be the quarterback for the rest of the year for the New Orleans Saints. So shout out to the Saints for winning their second game of the year. Shout out to the Lions. Blew out the Commanders 44-22. Jared Goff, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Lions rushed for 226 yards. And you all know if you have an amazing running game for Jared Goff, his play action is going to be vital. The Rams blowing out the 49ers 42-26. Matthew Stafford, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns. The Rams rushed for 120 yards. Shout out to the Chargers, who I picked against them because I thought the Steelers was going to win when they was at home, but it didn't happen like that. They blew the Steelers out 25-10. Justin Herbert, 220 yards, 1 touchdown. Shout out to the Eagles last night on defeating the Packers 10-7 in a great defensive struggle game. This game was 0-0 at halftime, guys. At halftime. So we didn't know who was going to win this game going into the third quarter. But shout out to the Eagles on scoring 10 points in the last 2 quarters to win this game 10-7. This was a very defensive game. And shout out to the Packers, man, who stayed there and fight. In my opinion, I think the Eagles the best team in the NFC. But shout out to the Packers though, man. They fight. But one thing about the Packers, whenever they play a good defense, they struggle to score. In their 3 games, the Packers lost 3 games. In the 3 games they lost, they had a losing margin of within 3 points. So they're gonna have to do a little bit better. All right. So in the NFC, I said the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. The second best team is the Seahawks. Third best team, the Rams, the Lions, then the Buccaneers, then the Packers, the Bears, and the 49ers. The Eagles have a 72 record, followed by the Seahawks and the Rams. All 3 of these teams have a 72 record. The Lions with a 6-3 record, and so does the Buccaneers, 6-3 record. The Packers have a record of 5-3-1 with the tie with the Cowboys earlier this year. The Bears with a 63 record as well, and the 49ers with a 6-4 record. Shout out to the Colts and the ALC, who nobody predicted the Colts would be number one in any fucking league. The Colts are 8-2 right now. The Broncos are 8-2, and shout out to the Patriots, another team who was surprisingly 8-2. So we have 3 teams that are better record than any team in the NFC. So shout out to the Colts, Broncos, and Patriots. All 3 teams are 8-2. Shout out to the Chargers, 7-3. The Bills, 6-3. The Steelers, 5-4. The Chiefs, 5-4, and the Jaguars are 5-4. Now, let's go to my prediction going into week 11. Going into week 11, we have a Thursday night game between the Jets and the Patriots. The Patriots are on a 7-game winning streak, and I do not think they're going to lose this winning streak against the Jets on Thursday night. So I'm picking the Patriots to win this game at home in New England. Now, for Sunday football, the Commanders versus the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are gonna piggyback off this win over the Bills, and I think that the Dolphins will win this game. Um, the Commanders have lost 5 in a row, and I don't think they will end this losing streak today on Sunday. So the Steelers and the Bengals. The Steelers are at home, and I think the Bengals have a lot of issues on that offense and the defense. I think the Bengals have a lot of issues on that defense. The offense they score a lot of points, but the defense give up the points. And when you're going against a defense like the Steelers that can contain a little bit of that Bengals offense, and then you have a pretty good offense by the Steelers, I'm picking the Steelers to win this game at home. I'm taking the Steelers over the Bengals. The Jaguars and the Chargers. Guys, this game will be close. I think this game is actually a potential rivalry game for what we seen a few years ago in the playoffs when the Chargers had like a 28-0 lead over the Jaguars. The Chargers are on the 3-game winning streak. However, I think, listen, man, after the Jaguars blew that fourth quarter lead against the Texans this past weekend, they should actually rebound and come back with a win today on Sunday. So shout out to Jaguars. I'm going for the Duval County Jags. Shout out to Jacksonville, man. Buccaneers versus the Bills. Listen, the Bills were very bad this past weekend. They gonna play with hard, but they have to execute. If they execute against the Buccaneers, I think they should win, and they are at home. So I'm picking the Bills over the Buccaneers. Next, we have the Bears over the Vikings. The Vikings are at home. Slightly, I'll take the Vikings, even though I won't be surprised if the Bears win because how amazing Caleb Williams is. Next, we have the Texans at Tennessee Titans. I'm taking the Texans. I think Tennessee is one of the worst teams in the NFL. Next, we have the Panthers at Atlanta. I'm taking the Falcons at home. I think the Panthers have a lot of cleaning up to do. Their offense is trash. If they can't run the ball, there's an ineffective offense there. The next, we have the Packers over at New York Giants. Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. I think the Packers are one of the best teams in the NFL. And I did mention the three losses that the Packers have is by a margin of 3 points. So if you score 3 more points, you either tie or win this game. If you score 4 points, you're undefeated. So shout out to the Packers, man. I'm taking the Packers to win this game. Seahawks at Rams. The Seahawks and the Rams are on a 4-game winning streak. I am amazed at what the Rams did to the 49ers this weekend. I'm taking the Rams because I think that Matthew Stafford is just going to be playing better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is going to try to manage this game, but I don't think it'll be enough to get this amazing Rams offense and this pretty good defense by the Rams. 49ers at Cardinals. Listen, I like the Cardinals blitz package. But I really like what I see in the 49ers against the Cardinals. I think the 49ers will be a little bit healthier this week. You're coming back off a blowout loss against the Rams. I think you should rebound here and beat the Cardinals. Next, we have the Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Ravens won 3 in a row. I think the Ravens defense will show up. I think Lamar Jackson will show up. I'm taking the Ravens over the Browns in this game. Next, we have the Chiefs at Denver Broncos. Guys, the Broncos is one of the hottest teams in the NFL along with the New England Patriots. The Patriots have won 7 in a row, and the Broncos have won 7 in a row. But unfortunately, they have to play the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Broncos. Kansas City usually have the upper hand on Denver. I think the Broncos' leverage will be that they're at home, but it's just hard for me to doubt Patrick Mahomes. It's hard for me to doubt Patrick Mahomes. I won't be surprised if the Broncos win this game. This is probably a pick that I might lose, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll with the Chiefs. Next, we have the Lions and the Eagles. Listen, the Eagles won 3 in a row. They beat some of the best teams in the NFL. I'm taking the Eagles over the Lions because I think that the Eagles will get after that Lions running game. I doubt that the Lions will have over 200 yards rushing this game, so I'm picking the Eagles to win this game. Next, on Monday Night Football, we have the Cowboys at the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, the Cowboys have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, but they also have one of the best offenses in the NFL. The Raiders, they're mid everywhere you look. They're mid in offense and they're mid in defense. I think I'm picking the Cowboys to win this game on the road in Las Vegas Raiders. I think Dak Prescott is playing like a top 10 quarterback. I don't know what Draymond Green was talking about, saying that Dak Prescott was a bomb and he's trash. That's utterly ridiculous. So I'm taking the Cowboys to win this game. I don't care how shitty the defense is. I'm just going my boy Dak. Shout out to boy Dak, man. But listen, man, these are my week 11 picks. We just recap on week 10 NFL this past weekend. There are more videos to come, more highlight tapes to come. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms. Follow me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Twitch. I go live daily. I go to post videos daily. This is one of the hottest channels on social media platforms because we cover all sports. We cover all the big time popular sports. We cover football, basketball, boxing, and UFC. So that means we're covering the NFL. We're covering college football. That means we're covering college basketball. That means we're covering NBA. So if you are a sports fan, this should be one of your favorite channels. Peace.